All right, so today we're going to talk about the mod matrix. Some people were asking about how to set that up and CC map. And in particular, there was a question about changing scale and root. And so I thought I would just test it, make sure it worked. And so what I have here are 4 poly sequencers, and each one is a similar pattern. The patterns you can see are relatively similar, but they do work together. Slight differences, each one with its own ARP on, and then slightly different roots. You can see 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 5. So what this person wanted to do was actually change the root and scale across multiple. And so it's not too difficult to do. The fastest way is to probably go to your first pattern and go ahead and go to the mod matrix. You can see you can always input from CV. CV is in the back or on the pipe. CV does have less available destinations than MIDI. So look at the manual for the destination table. But you can see I've got a few CCs already mapped here. And the way you would map is you would enter. You have up to 16 that you can map, and you would enter one that's blank or redo one that you've already mapped. And if we go into a blank one, you'll see that you have a choice to either choose by type, which is CC, note on toggle. You can choose your actual number manually and your channel manually, or you can do a learn. In this case, I'm learning CC40 on channel 1. I push in to accept it. It's now assigned, and now I choose where it goes. If I go to internal destination number 1, I have a list that I can pick from. Pretty long list. Again, this list is in the manual, or there's a separate area called parameter destination. You have 2 of those. So one CC can go to 2 internal destinations and 2 parameter destinations simultaneously. And you can see a different list here. Now what this person wanted to do was actually change the sequencer scale and root. And so that is right here. You would just map one or the other. And what I've done is previously mapped it already. So we'll go in there in a minute. But the last parameter you want to check off when you're sending the same CC to multiple sequencers is this consume. It's currently set to yes by default, and so you want to turn that to no. If you leave it at yes, it'll just hit this one sequencer, and then it'll be eaten, essentially, and not passed on to the others. If you put it on no, it'll be passed on to the next one. So what I've got here is already pre-mapped. I've got CC 33 through 38, and I've got this on, this should be, I believe, root, scale, and then these are 2 ARP divisions. And then here I've got a random generator. So scale and root, I've got ARP on the grid, not the keyboard ARP, the grid ARP. And so you get there from the grid, press the ARP button. That's different than going from the keyboard and pressing the ARP button. Those are 2 different arpeggiators. So I go to the grid and the ARP, and I've got this mapped to type, which is the alternate in and out. It's essentially like turning this knob. And then I've also got this assigned, a second one assigned to octave. And so that would be changing that octave. Now it does offset, so wherever you set it initially, it'll go from 1 and then up. So I only need to modulate about 6 values. If I wanted to get all of these, I would go to -7, and then I would have essentially 13 or 14 values to modulate. So I'm just going to leave it at 1. Then the other stuff that I've done is random generator. And this will trigger however you have each sequencer. Currently I just have it on order, very basic generator. It should just take my notes and reorder them. And then the other one that I have is actually pattern load. So I can go crazy on the patterns, and then I can send a CC to reload the pattern, and that'll reload for the original pattern that you're going to hear right here. So to take a quick listen, this is what it sounds like. And what we're going to do is just start to change the root. Moving CC33. And back to our original. Now I'm doing this by knob, and so this, of course, would be better if we did this sequence. Now I can change the scale from minor to, say, changed all four of them. If I do my root again, you can see it's changed all of them. Maintaining the offset, of course. Alright, so now I've got Arp type. Arp type does not update on the screen, so it is changing it. And then the other one that I have is random generator. You'll see it change here in a second. Do it again. To have decay maps. Alright, random generator again. Change the root. And if I want to go back to my original pattern, I've got this CC listed at 38. At the end of this, I'll reload it. Alright, so you can see it's pretty useful to map on the mod matrix. I unfortunately have these on knobs, so it's not quite as precise as if you were able to send from an external sequencer, or if you map some of these values to buttons specifically, that would be very, very good and precise for those different changes that you want. But it is a fun thing to do, and you've got 16 slots per sequencer again, so feel free to go crazy there and go ahead and map out to external controllers or your DAW, knobs, buttons, whatever it is that you like to do.